What's up, everyone? I'm out in the van right now, headed to my son's baseball game. Pitched a good game yesterday. He's in a tournament right now, about an hour from the house. So I wanted to talk about how everybody thinks they know how to run a restaurant. It's just amazing how people tell you how you should be running your restaurant, what you should be doing. It's just quite shocking. The hardest part of a restaurant is probably dealing with people. Dealing with guests first and or second, and dealing with staff. You're dealing with people. It's a people business. It's all based upon connections. It's all based upon feelings, how you feel at a place. You know, do you feel you got a good meal? Do you feel you got good service? It's not like going to buy bricks where, hey, this is the brick, this is what you're getting. You want 1,000 bricks, I'll give you the bricks. Here's the price. Everything's so subjective. You wouldn't pick that brick out if you didn't like that brick, right? Oh, I like that brick because there's 20 bricks to pick from. In restaurants, it's just everything is so subjective and anything can go wrong at any moment. Being in the restaurant industry since I was 14, I'm 43 right now, so 39 years in the restaurant industry, I've seen a lot. I've seen fryers catch on fire right in the middle of service, just up in flames. I've seen suppression systems go off. I've seen the rudest, nastiest guests making big deals in places. It's been amazing. Anything can go wrong. It can go wrong like that. So we try not to overseat people in my restaurant. The video's about this particular incident that just happened about spacing reservations out and spacing people out. So I'm the kind of guy that doesn't like to pack the restaurant. I've never been like that. If I have an open seat, it doesn't mean that seat's available. It just simply means, hey, if I'm saying I'm full and I have 2 empty tables, it's because we're full to capacity based upon our staff, based upon the output of the kitchen, based upon the service that I feel we can provide. And if somebody's like really, really insistent, I'm like, listen, hey, this is the situation. You're welcome to wait, this and that. And sometimes people are more than happy to wait or this or that. But I'm like, just because you walk into my restaurant and see an empty table doesn't mean that I can't say that, hey, I'm at capacity. The name of the game for us is to provide a memorable experience. If you pack a place at a certain amount of time, like next door we have the Shadowland Theater, which is a great asset to our community. And everybody's like, oh, it must bring you tons of business, Marcus, tons of business. I gotta be honest with you, I like to do a certain amount of people for the Shadowland because they have to be in at 6 and they got to be out at 8 o'clock. They got to be next door at 8 o'clock for curtain call. And a lot of people don't believe me that they need 2 hours to eat in my restaurant. So they're like, well, I can come in at 7 and still get, I'm sorry. By the time you sit down in a restaurant and order, you're 10, 15 minutes into the game already. So at 7 to 7:15, the order goes to the kitchen. They need another 20 minutes, 30 minutes to cook our food, especially if you're having 2 courses. Right there, you're at 7:45, the meal's arriving at your table, and you want to go next door for an 8 o'clock curtain call. People don't understand. They argue with me all the time. I'm like, I've been doing this for 12 years, 13 years. I know what our restaurant's like. I know. So they're like, oh, you must love all that business. I'm like, honestly, I like a certain portion of that business, but if my whole dining room comes in at 6 and has to be out at 8 o'clock and I have to turn 65 people at once, that's a major challenge, and we're going to have flaws for service. There's going to be somebody, the last 2 tables are the ones that are going to get shafted, and they're the ones that are going to have to wait until, an hour for their food, which sucks, and that's just the reality of it when the restaurant's packed like that and the whole ticket rail in the kitchen is filled with tickets. That's the reality of the business. The last table is going to seem like it's taking forever, and the first table is going to be in and out. So I had a lady come in last night. It was Saturday night, a busy Saturday. We could have been busier. I could have easily done another $800 in sales, another $1,000. I could have easily probably done that if I wanted to. But the name of the game is to provide a memorable experience. And I had a lady come in, and we turned away a lot of people last night. And they walk in, and there's a couple empty tables. What they don't understand is, in a half an hour or in 45 minutes, I have a reservation for that table. So I had somebody that called the day before, 5 hours before, or 5 weeks before, who said, hey, I know I'm coming to your restaurant, and I want to let you know I'm coming, and I'm calling to make a reservation. Here's my phone number, and here we go. So when they call, I honor those reservations. So for me to take a walk-in reservation, somebody who did not make a reservation, and put them at a table and make a reservation wait, doesn't make sense to me. That's not a memorable experience, in my opinion. And granted, people do have to wait for tables at my restaurant that did make reservations, and it sucks when that happens. And I hate being in that predicament. So out of many of the people that we turned away last night on a Saturday night, one lady walked in and she was, I don't understand this and that. She came back like a half an hour later. She goes to my bartender. She goes, can I sit at the bar for a drink? And she goes, of course you can sit at the bar for a drink. Absolutely. And she goes, well, I was just coming in to see how busy you weren't, because she'd gotten turned away a half an hour early, and she was like all rude and nasty. And then she starts taking pictures of the empty tables I have. Now, granted, 9 minutes later, I had a 12 top. The 12 people walk in the door and sit down in the middle of the dining room. Then I had 2 extra empty tables in the front of the dining room, the last 2 tables that we seat. My back of the dining room had every table filled, my booths were filled, and the wall was filled. So you should walk in, it looks like an empty restaurant from the beginning. But honestly, to have all those people in the restaurant to begin with, and seating a 12 top, and hers thinking, people just don't know the restaurant industry. They don't understand, like, hey, people actually called and had the courtesy to call me ahead of time and make a reservation. I'm going to honor it. And because you're a walk-in doesn't mean I have to honor, because I'm based upon capacity. If it was a Thursday night, I would have been happy to take her. If it was a Monday night, happy. Friday night, most likely happy. But on a Saturday night, when we're rocking and rolling and jamming, and the kitchen's what I feel is at capacity, I'm going to turn people away based upon having an empty table in my restaurant or 2 empty tables. That's just the way that I feel that I have to do business to provide service. Now, here's a great thing about last night. I got 2 awesome Yelp reviews. I got a 4-star and a 5-star. The 4-star didn't give me a 5-star because our credit card chip reader was broken. Brand new credit card machine. It's been here 2 weeks. And those little new chips in those credit cards, well, we have the chip reader. We switched to a chip reader. So the chip reader wasn't working. And so she got upset, and she goes, well, I would have given you 5 stars, but I gave you 4 stars. Everything was great. She thought the salmon was a little pricey, but that's a whole different story. They had a great time. They had a great meal. At another table that actually mentioned my bartender Talia in the review and said she's fantastic, this and that. So I got 2 fantastic reviews on a busy Saturday night. Now, to me, that's more important than putting people into seats and providing bad service and making the kitchen overloaded. And then all of a sudden, those 2 5-star, 4 and 5-star reviews might have been a 3 and a 4, or 2 and a 3, or maybe they don't even have a good of experience because we have an additional 15 people, 20 people in the restaurant because people think I have an empty table. So that's my philosophy and I've always been like that. Like I said in the beginning of this video, I've always been like that. And places that I've worked, you just figure out, hey, this is our capacity. This is what we can max out at. This is the output, and I say this is the output of the restaurant. She has no idea. Walking into my restaurant, she has no idea. A month or so ago, we did this huge wedding, and I had a skeletal staff at the restaurant. It was a Saturday night, and instead of just closing, because we honestly should have been closed with the huge wedding, I try to honor being open all the times. I never try to close for a private party because I feel if somebody makes a reservation or drives an hour, I'm going to try to honor them walking in the door. I'm going to try to. And being closed and having on my website that I'm open, I think is not the proper business practice. So whatever party we do, I always try to open, and always have been open, by the way, and accommodate these people. And so that night, we had several empty tables all night long, and that's the way I wanted it, because I knew, based upon the staff that I had here and the staff that I had at the wedding, which was 7 miles down the road, and I was going back and forth to both, based upon what we have, that's the output of the restaurant. The restaurant's at its max. So her walking in last night, she has no idea. She would have no idea if one of the cooks cut his finger and 2 of them had to go to the hospital. You're just walking in and seeing a table and making a judgment. They never know the other side of the story. And everybody's like that. They make judgments without having that crucial conversation of, well, what is the other person? You're not in the other person's shoes. And so walking in and making a big stink about that, I think is, I think that's very childish to come back and snap pictures. Well, she doesn't know she was on surveillance, so I got more pictures of her than she got of my dining room. Who knows what she's going to do with these pictures? But it would totally suck if she goes onto Yelp and bashes us and posts these pictures. That would totally suck. But people are like that. People are childish and people are mean. I had a terrible meal 2 weeks ago. Terrible meal at a nice restaurant in Woodstock that people rave about. Myself, my wife, my daughter, and her boyfriend. bad. This is terrible. Service was terrible. I'm not going on Yelp and bashing the place. In fact, I'm probably going to call the owner, because I know the owner, know of the owner. We've met several times and have a little rapport. But the last thing I would do is go online and bash him. I'm going to want to call them and say, hey, just so you know, this was my experience here. I'm not sure if that's the normal, but this is what I was expecting. The menu was even listed wrong on one of the items because I was avoiding wheat, and out comes wheat. And I said, but this dish, the way it's classically made, is made with corn, and you're using wheat. I didn't know that on the menu. It didn't say that on the menu, so I ordered it because I thought it was corn and not wheat. I thought it was organic corn, and that's why I really don't like it. I'm not eating it. The waitress didn't say anything. She's like, oh, okay. Didn't say anything, didn't take it off the bill, didn't offer to remake it, nothing. My staff goes out of the way. If you say something's wrong, we're not charging you, we're making you a new one, we're getting you something, and you're gonna walk out the door with a dessert to go on us, on top of everything we've done, because it's all about the experience, about the memorable experience. We, all four of us, have a terrible experience about that restaurant that we were at for lunch, and honestly, I've been there 2 or 3 times and had some good meals. I probably won't go back. I probably will not go back. Of course, I should call the owner. That's the right thing to do. I should call the owner and let this person know. So everybody thinks they're a restaurant operator and they know what's going on, or are they just childish and selfish and just not respectable? I'm Chef Marcus Guiliano. Thanks for watching this video. If you like my videos, please hit like, subscribe to my channel, and definitely pass it on.